Something big is happening in Africa, but no one's talking about it. On the surface, it's just ports and roads, a few ships, some construction sites, but look a little closer and you'll see something far more serious taking shape. Across the African continent, China is quietly building more than just infrastructure. It's laying the groundwork for military power. From the eastern shores of Djibouti to the Atlantic coast of Equatorial Guinea, from the warm waters of Tanzania to the deep ports of Angola, bases are going up, partnerships are strengthening, and flags are being planted. So why is China doing all this? What's the real reason behind building these bases? Are they just for protecting trade, or is there something bigger going on? In the next few minutes that will break it all down, step by step, and show you how China's quiet but strategic moves across Africa aren't just about the continent itself. They could reshape trade routes, military power, and even the way the world is divided in the coming years. What's happening in Africa today could decide who controls the world's oceans tomorrow and who leads the world in the next century. It all began in Djibouti, a small nation at the Horn of Africa, which most people can't find on a map, yet it holds one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in global geopolitics. In 2017, China opened its first overseas military base here, right next to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, one of the most important shipping choke points in the world. Every single day, nearly 10% of global trade, including oil, gas, and manufactured goods, passes through this strait. It connects the Indian Ocean to the Red Sea, which then leads to the Suez Canal and into Europe. So whoever controls this strait holds a serious advantage in global trade and military logistics. China's base in Djibouti is no small outpost. It's massive. Satellite images show hardened bunkers, underground facilities, a deep water port capable of docking aircraft carriers, and even a large military pier. Chinese Marines are stationed there, and it's fully operational. And what's more concerning is that this base is just minutes away from American, French, and Japanese military installations. So Chinese, American, French, and Japanese troops are all operating side by side, separated by just a few kilometers. This has made Djibouti a place of silent tension, a kind of mini Cold War on the African coast, where everyone is watching everyone else. But Djibouti was just the beginning. China's attention is also turning thousands of kilometers west, across the African continent to Equatorial Guinea, a small but strategically placed nation on the Atlantic coast, where the next big move in China's military expansion may be happening. Just as Djibouti gave China a grip on the Indian Ocean, Equatorial Guinea could give it a historic entry into the Atlantic, with the port city of Bata emerging as the next likely site for a Chinese military base. While it might look like just another shipping hub, there's growing evidence that China is planning to transform it into a fully functional military base. But why does this matter? So basically, until now, China's naval presence has been mostly limited to the Pacific and Indian Oceans, near its own borders. But if China establishes a naval base in Bata, it would suddenly have direct access to the Atlantic Ocean, a region that has long been considered a secure and stable domain for the United States and its allies. This move would give China a launch pad into the Western Hemisphere, allowing its navy to patrol and project power across West Africa and even reach toward the coasts of South America and the southeastern United States, places where, until now, only the US and its allies had naval control. And it's not just theory. According to leaked intelligence and US defense assessments, the Chinese military could use this base to resupply, refuel, and even perform maintenance on its warships in the Atlantic. That's a major development because until now, China's navy has had to rely heavily on distant bases or long-range logistics to operate outside Asia. The United States is deeply concerned about this. Officials have called this a potential national security threat. But why? It's because it would be the first time a rival superpower sets up a military base in a region where the US has maintained dominance since World War II. Imagine this. Just a few years ago, China had 0 military facilities outside its own region. Today, it's building a global footprint, and Equatorial Guinea could become the crown jewel of its Atlantic presence. If this base becomes operational, China wouldn't just be challenging the US in Asia, it would be right at its doorstep in the Atlantic. That's not just strategy, it's a bold geopolitical message. In simple terms, this could completely reshape naval dynamics and balance of power in the Atlantic Ocean, a region the US has always considered its safe backyard. And China's Atlantic ambition doesn't stop at Equatorial Guinea. Just up the Africa's western coast lies Gabon, another resource-rich nation where China isn't building a base outright, but it's doing something far more subtle. Not every military footprint begins with flags and soldiers. Sometimes it begins with handshakes, trade deals, and quiet military agreements, and that's exactly what's now unfolding in Gabon. China upgraded its relationship with Gabon in April 2023 to what it officially calls a comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. This might sound like standard diplomatic language, but in China's playbook, this is serious. It signals long-term cooperation, increased economic investment, and most importantly, military engagement behind closed doors. While Gabon hasn't confirmed any Chinese military base yet, analysts believe this partnership could easily evolve into security arrangements or basing agreements in the future. This is part of a broader Chinese strategy, which is to enter through economics and then expand influence quietly. And if Gabon hints at future potential, Angola, just to the south, shows us what that future might already look like. Angola is rich in oil, minerals, and strategic positioning. China became Angola's largest trading partner in 2007 and has remained at the top ever since. It has invested billions into Angola's oil industry, construction projects, and port infrastructure. It has become the country's top trading partner, top creditor, and a major force in rebuilding its infrastructure after decades of civil war. The port of Luanda, Angola's capital, is a major site of Chinese involvement. plant. This port has been heavily modernized with Chinese support, and here's where it gets interesting. The port's design is dual use, meaning it can serve both commercial ships and military vessels. It has deep berths, secure docking areas, and logistics infrastructure that could support naval operations. So what does that really mean? In peacetime, these ports function like any other, moving cargo, boosting trade, and strengthening ties. But if global tensions rise, or if China feels the need to secure its overseas assets, these ports can very quickly shift roles, supporting Chinese warships, submarines, or surveillance operations.